Dishwasher.
All right, welcome everybody to the Sacramento Speaker Network and Entrepreneurs Network webinar for, what day is it? April 2018. And I am Katrina Sawa, the Jumpstart Your Biz Coach with jumpstartyourmarketing.com. I'm the one that runs the this group, and we usually meet in person. We added these webinars this year that seem to be taking off, so it's good to see some of you here. I know what's fun about the webinars is that we can actually, even the 2,600 members that we have, they may not all show up, but we're gonna get into their inbox. So make sure that on this recording, you're opening up the chat and you're typing in who you are, what you do, your website URL, and any kind of special offer that you might have. Ideally to a free thing is always better than a paid thing for people to just try you out. So don't forget to do that. If you're on the phone and not able to type into the chat, then please, when you introduce yourself, let me know what to type and I will type it into the chat, because I copy and paste that chat into my page when I send this page out to everybody afterwards. So just in case you weren't aware, I'm gonna put we have a page where all the previous webinars are, and I'm gonna put that into the chat now. Page for previous webinars. It's a page on my website that I put up with, I can show you really quick, just doing a little intro. So this is the page with all the monthly recordings. If you're looking at the screen, so far we've only had 2. I haven't put like the December one and stuff, but these are the 2 from this year so far, February and March. So we talked about 3 keys to accelerate results and the outsourced CEO, get out of overwhelm. So this is where it goes, and then the chat rooms contents are in here with links back to the replay and also all of your links to your website, you guys. So this is where it goes. So you want to make sure that you put stuff in the chat room so that I can hear it. And then make sure you're also joining us on Facebook. We have a group on Facebook as well as a page. Go like the page, but hang out in the group. So that's just a little reminder. And then of course, the meetups are on, the events are all on Meetup, as you know. You guys are all there. Just make sure you're reading the full description. Like the webinar one always tells you the call-in information, and those of you who are here know this, but I'm putting it out there for people who maybe haven't attended one of these before, and it gives you all the information. You technically don't have to RSVP to the webinar to come, but it's helpful so we know how many people are coming, and it's also helpful for connection afterwards. So if you meet people on here, a lot of times you can go and find them on the RSVP list. And so if those of you who are on live haven't actually RSVP'd, which most of you haven't, you just kind of showed up, which is fine. But what if you could go RSVP on this page? I'll click it over to the chat room. That way, you guys can connect with each other afterwards as well. So it's just a thought. I don't use these, but when I get onto, let's see. When I get onto calls like this, I just put it in the chat for you guys. When I get into calls like this, and there's, a few people, bless you, in the, in the room, quote unquote, I like to, I know all of you, but there's times I don't know people, and when I'm hearing somebody share something, I always like to reach out and connect with them personally. So this is a great place to do that. Otherwise, you have to go find everybody on Facebook or find their website and connect with them. So you utilize Meetup if you can. I see Mickey's here. Thank you, in the chat room. All right. Let's see here. Anything else that I want to announce? Group announcements. There's one more speaking spot. I want to say, let me see. Hold on a second. There's one more speaking spot for the in-person events. for this year. It doesn't sound like two 10-minute slots for September and December. I know it's way far out, but if you haven't spoken at the group in a while, or at least a year, and you would like to speak, and I know 10 minutes isn't that much, but you can accomplish a lot. And nowadays, there's so many TEDx talks, right? So many 10-minute talks and 10-minute opportunities left and right, that it's really great to have practice giving a 10-minute talk. So just an FYI, I'm looking for 2 speakers this year in person, September and December, and it's the first Wednesday of every month for lunch. So if you do want to do one of those, you need to run on over to the sacspeaker.com page, sacspeaker.com, to sign up to speak. And I'll book first come, first serve over there. And then, like, Helen, you haven't spoken in a while. You better run over there, girl. Let's see. Oh, announcements. I sent out an email today, as you probably got it. Don't forget, because there was a couple people that are having events, and because they weren't on my radar, they didn't get into the email. So if you're having an event, even if you host a podcast or a radio show or something like that, because you're a member in the SAC Speaker Network, I will put a blurb into the email. So if you saw my email today, it's like 3 or 4 sentences. The blurbs are about 3 or 4 sentences with a link. Make sure all the details are there, and a link to the page to wherever they need to go for information or registration. So it can be a free thing, it can be a paid thing, it doesn't matter. I'm here to support and put that out to the whole member list as well. So as long as you're an active member, not, an actual registered member on Meetup, then I will be happy to do that for you. I think that's all that I have as far as reminders. Anybody have any questions? You're probably all muted, so if you have a question, you're gonna have to unmute. Anybody have any questions about SAC speakers in general? Our next luncheon is tomorrow. If you are not signed up yet, you can still register. We should have around 20 people, hopefully more. So please share the information. If you got the email, share that email out, because we have 2 speakers, one talking about your finances and financial stuff, one talking about beautifying your space and organizing so you have better environment. And then I'm doing a little training on the types of books you can write. And I know Ellen's talking about book stuff tonight too. So it's all about books, because I'm just came back from a workshop where everybody has, and their brother has a book. So, so we're going to talk a lot about books tonight. But first, before we do that, I want to get to introductions. Any last minute questions? I don't see any. Okay. All right. So all of you that are here get to introduce yourself, and you have about a minute or so, 30 seconds to a minute, somewhere in there. And then if you have something going on, you can say it within that time period. You can also post it in the chat. So for example, this is mine. So I'm Katrina Sawa, the Jumpstart Your Biz Coach, and I help people make a lot more money doing what they love. And I do that through live workshops here in Sacramento, but I also have a 2-hour masterclass, which is like this, and I don't know why I'm sharing my screen. Stop sharing. Okay. My 2-hour masterclass is like what we're doing here on Zoom, but it's laser coaching. So anybody that comes, I can help you work through all kinds of different things and things that you're working on, from your website to your copywriting, your flyers, your speaking gigs, anything that you're doing in your business. And it's only $79, excuse me, per class, which is a great way to try me out, for those of you who know you need some help to jumpstart your business. So you can go to jumpstartyourmarketing.com/masterclass, jumpstartyourmarketing.com/masterclass. And then I also have a book opportunity. So I'll tell you about that later. But if you haven't been published yet, you can be published in a chapter in a book that I'm going to be doing, a compilation book. I have 3 compilation books already, and that's how I started, and now I have my own book. So anywho, that's what I do, jumpstartyourmarketing.com. So who wants to go next? Let's see. Chuck's is unmuted. You're unmuted and you're on the phone. So can we hear from you, Chuck? No, we can't. Oh, Chuck's not unmuted. Hold on. There you are. Nope. Okay, there you
Okay.
are.
You're,
How's it?
you're clicking unmute and I'm clicking unmute and we're swapping. Yeah.
All
Now
right.
I do business intelligence consulting, training. I do speaker coaching primarily to corporate groups. I do public speaking, professional speaking, and I have 3 books out and 4 more coming. And I've been saying that for over a year now. So my claim to fame announcement today, as an apology for last month's on site where I forgot my usual bottle of wine as a gift, I'm bringing 2 tomorrow.
Oh, nice. Okay, I'm gonna make sure I enter the drawing because I need some wine for a party I'm having. Okay, thank you. And what's your website, Chuck? I'm gonna put it in the chat.
The one I use for this group right now is speakerpresenter.com.
That's actually a good one.
That's the one with Janice Burt. She and I are doing some work together.
Very cool. Thank you. All righty. Who is on the phone at the 530 area code? You are unmuted. Are you available to speak? If so, we can't hear you.
I'm still at work, so I'm just listening in.
Okay. And do you want to at least wipe in your website really quick so I can write it down for you? Wipe in. I don't know why I said wipe in, but whatever. Okay. Well, if you feel like the words, I swear to God, I'm turning 40 something, 8, I don't know. I cannot get the right words out of my mouth these days. Okay. Helen, are you unmuted? I see you sitting there with no mute on.
Yeah, I'm unmuted. So
Okay.
Helen Justice, what I do is if you're taking care of mom and dad and don't know how to pay for it, that's what I do. I help educate you on all public benefits. I'm a speaker, author, and I'm available for any groups that are out there to educate on public benefits. There are so many out there, people do not understand it. They really screw it up, and once you ring the bell, it's too late. You cannot unring that bell. So I do family training twice a month, the first and third Wednesday of every month. So that's why I can't make the speakers on Wednesday, the first Wednesday. But my web address is advancedwellnessgcm.com. I have some videos out there. I have a lot of content, blogs, and if you're looking for a guest speaker, I'm your gal.
Good. Then I hope to find your name in my inbox as soon as we're done here. Okay. Let's see. How about Beth? Can you unmute and share what you do?
Here I am. Sure. First of all, Katrina, I have to tell you that is a great color for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you look really radiant. It's really great.
It's the only thing I own this color. Maybe I need to get more.
I think you need to get more, absolutely. Anyway, I'm here. Are you caught up in the craziness of your business and your life? I'm Beth Lendrum, the creator of the 4-Minute Flow, and this process helps you to realign yourself, calm yourself, and be able to be focused and have more fun in your business and your life. My website is waveenergyhealing.com. I'll put it in the chat room. And I have a Zoom call coming up on Monday the 16th. If you'd like to be a part of that, you'll learn all about the 4-Minute Flow.
The 4-Minute Flow. That's super cool.
Thought you might like that.
Did you buy the domain?
I did.
With the number and the word?
Yes, I did. Both of them.
Ah, you rock. Okay, cool.
I've been trained by you, Katrina. Yeah. I got it.
Awesome. I love that.
Thank you.
Cool. All right, Michelle. I can unmute you. Hold on. Here we go.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm Michelle Mariscal, and my primary direction with work right now is in the area of resilience, and resilience specifically around moving out of anxiety, depression. I'm putting together an 8-week class kind of as a pilot test to have face-to-face and virtual to build the habit of moving into renewing emotions using the intelligence of the heart. That's what I'm working on right now, and I'm in the creation of my website, which will be energym.org.
Awesome. Welcome. Okay, and then Vim. How about Vim? Let me unmute you. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Sorry for the disruption earlier, Katrina.
That's okay.
I'm a relationship and mental health coach, and I have a relationship workshop that I've designed. I don't have a venue for it yet, so I'll let you know. And I am also the owner of a website, www.itswhatyouwear.com. So I'm selling T-shirts in, what do you call that? So I can raise money for rheumatoid arthritis. So. That's it.
Okay. And then you don't have a website, or?
Well, the website is, it's not up and running yet, but it's spiritcoachvim.com.
Okay.
And so that's in the works.
Okay. One thing you can do if you don't have your website up, you guys, you could put your Facebook link or your LinkedIn link, whichever one you hang out on most, and then maybe people connect with you there. Just an FYI. Yeah.
Thanks.
And then what was I going to say? Oh, you don't have a venue yet for your event, but you can still pre-sell your event, so don't let that stop you. So definitely.
Okay. Okay, so how would I pre-sell it if I'm not on website?
Well, you could go to Eventbrite and do your event on Eventbrite.
Okay.
I mean, they take a commission of the sale, but who cares? I mean, at least you can start making money, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So.
Well, actually, the relationship workshop is going to be free.
Oh, well.
It's going to be free.
Then
so,
you
yeah.
definitely want to go to Eventbrite because they can drive traffic, and so get it going there. Why not?
Right. Great.
And
Thank you.
Okay, and then you have a link you can send people to.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Very cool. All right, Mickey, you're up.
Hello, I am Mickey Griffith with Ascentive, and I'm a business coach with a specialty in referral marketing. I posted a link for a class that's coming up, and that is Give Me My Life Back. And the reason that this class came up is because so many of my clients are hanging on to the things that we've done to streamline them, make them more efficient in their time management and calendars and those kind of things. And the answers I'm getting back is they're getting their life back. So business owners that can't remember when they had dinner with their wife last, or would like to, make a kid's baseball game. Those are good people to come to this kind of thing and get their life back so they're not a slave to their business anymore.
I love it. I love it, Mickey. Okay, let's see. Who's an R? There's just an R in the middle of the screen. R or Carol?
Hi. I'm in the middle of transferring to my phone because I have to get ready to drive. But hi, I'm Shay Hill. Actually, I don't know why it says R up there. It must have been like an old reason. But I'm Shay Hill. I was told about this group from Gail Guest Brown. She's just
great.
This to you. I'm a motivational speaker. I was abused growing up by my family members, and I used to think I was worthless, but I was able to change my mindset to I am meant to be. So I founded the company I Am Meant to Be. So I help people ages 22 to 35 transform their emotional pain into peace. So I focus on self-love, forgiveness, and anxiety. And here is my website, and I also have a YouTube channel. And you can get a glimpse of what I speak about. And yes, I would love for you to subscribe and get your feedback.
Awesome. Well, great. Now, do you live locally to the area, Sacramento?
I do.
Okay. Well, hopefully you can come to one of the live luncheons one of these days.
Yes, I look forward to that.
Okay. Awesome. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Carol, are you available to speak? I can unmute you. Are you there, Carol? No? All right. One more chance for the 530 gal on the phone at work? No? Okay. All right, no worries. We're going to get started then with Ellen, and I'm going to introduce our guest speaker today, and then you can give a little bit more about your talk when I introduce you, okay, Ellen? And then and make sure you tell us if you've got something going on. So let's see. I'm going to read her official bio here. So Ellen Violette, first of all, she's a friend of mine. I don't even know where we met because I have no memory anymore, and we've been friends for many years, I think. You're in the Bay Area, right? No. On mute. Where are you?
San Diego.
San Diego. Oh, even better than the Bay Area. No offense, Bay Area people.
I went to college in the Bay Area, so I was
okay. That's just weird. I don't know why I thought you were one of my Bay Area friends. All right. So we're going to make sure you can mute yourself if you're not already muted. I'm going to mute the phone person. Okay. So Ellen Violette is a literary strategist and publishing expert, as well as an award-winning business coach and CEO of Create a Splash Marketing. She helps thought leaders, speakers, coaches, independent professionals, businesses, and authors get their message out to the world through writing and marketing books and using them to create 6- or 7-figure businesses. Her company also delivers done-for-you services. Ellen is a multiple international #1 best-selling author and creator of the bestseller to business Pro Blueprint. Ellen is also a 3-time Elite Award winner, recipient of the Be the Change Award, and a Grammy-nominated songwriter. So she's a variety of skills here, you guys. So make sure you write down any questions that you have or put them in the chat room as she's talking. She only has a short amount of time, so I'm going to let her go. And then we just need to, we want to do hot seats. So 5 till 5:45 or something, okay, Ellen, with questions and everything. So as best as you can. All right, take it away.
All right. So first of all, it all comes back to, as far as I'm concerned, it's just about getting your message out, whether it's a book, whether it's speaking, podcasts, TV interviews, whatever it is, it's about getting your message out. And what I really love is the idea, and somebody mentioned it earlier, about get your life back. That's great, because my philosophy is about streamlining your business, really. So I think people try to do too much. I think that, we get crazed with, oh my God, I've got to be here, I've got to be there, I've got to be on every social media network, I've got to, And so I think that speaking and books just go together really well, because whatever you put in your book is your message, then when you're going out and you're speaking, you always have your book. And always, one of the things that I see my clients do a lot is they forget to showcase their book. So when you're speaking, you always want to have, right? I saw that, yeah. You always want to have your books. And I know a lot of people do start with ebooks if they don't have the money to do a book, but even if you do it that way, what you can do is you can have a sheet of paper, with you that you have printed up, and you can tell people where to go to get your book, like if it's on Amazon or if it's on your website. And so you don't have to have it with you. One time I was speaking at Mega Book University with Mark Victor Hansen and Jack Canfield. And Jack Canfield, it was right before the Success Principle was coming out. And what he did was, and of course, this takes money, but he had like a little pamphlet that was like an introduction to the book. And he had put those all around, and people could take that. So the reason that Katrina said, even if you don't have a book yet, is because if you're talking and you don't have a book yet, guess what? Your talk is your book. If you have a talk, like let's say that you give and it's kind of a preview to what you do, that's exactly the great place to start to create a book. So one of the ways that one of the things I'm a big proponent of is repurposing. So it doesn't matter how you do it. If you're speaking and you don't have the book, then go from speaking to the book. If you do webinars and you've got a PowerPoint, turn the PowerPoint into a book. There are lots of different ways that you can do it. But the bottom line is, sometimes people will say to me, well, I don't know what to put in my book. And then I'll say to them, well, whatever you're speaking about is what should go into your book, right? Or, if you're coaching, whatever you're coaching about, that should be your book. And so many times, like I said, people will just say, I don't know. And I'll say, well, when you work with people one-on-one, how do you work? And they'll continue, and they'll just start to, spill it all out, what they talk about. I go, well, that's your book. So that's, you know, really important. And people take you more seriously when you have a book, and you also get more clients. I mean, I've just been amazed. Like, I haven't had this one for me personally, but I have colleagues where they've been working with, for instance, real estate people. And if the real estate person they're working with shows up and they have a book and the other person doesn't, they get the listing like 95% of the time. So having that book just gives you so much more credibility and expert status. And the word author comes from the word authority, and people look up to authors. And I used to say about 1% of people, you know, 81% of people want to write a book and less than 1% ever will. Well, now with self-publishing, it's about 1 to 3% ever will. But nonetheless, you know, a lot of people don't understand that book writing does not have to be hard. And sometimes you'll hear something, oh, it took me 5 years to write my book, as if that's a badge of honor. To me, it's like depressing, because it should not take you 5 years to write a book. And in fact, my very first workshop that I'm famous for is called the 3 Days to Ebook Cash Workshop, where I teach people how you can literally get a book done in 3 days. And actually, you know, I work with clients now where we can get it done for them in with about 6 hours of their time, and we do the rest. So again, and that's from speaking it, you know, from creating the book. So I want to talk a little, should I talk a little bit about how to do that? How you can create your book? I guess Katrina's not hearing me or something. Oh, there. So
I can hear you. We hear you.
okay,
Yeah.
so should I talk a little bit about how to get your...
Well, maybe we should take a poll. Like, raise your hand if we can see you. Like, how many of you have a book, or hold your book up? I know quite a few people already have books here. Maybe they're working on the second book, or there's Rhonda's books. Helen has a book. I got a book. Chuck has a book. Okay.
Okay, well, maybe we should talk about the marketing instead. Should we talk about the marketing of it instead a little bit more?
No, I think getting more books done. Doesn't everybody want to know how to get another book done, or get it done quicker or faster or cheaper, or other options? Yeah. So I think even if you have one, I think I'm doing another one right now. This is just my mock-up. So, I mean, this is my client's book.
That's what I was talking about, a mock-up.
Fake cover on it. Because it's not in print yet. It's getting there.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the process that I use for doing books. And the really crucial thing is to do the research first. And when people come to work with me, it doesn't matter if they're just starting on their book or if they've already written their book. I do make them do the same thing, because, you know, for those of you who don't know me, I am known for doing #1 bestseller launches on Kindle. And I have a 100% success rate doing that. And the reason is that I do the research, and it's all about the numbers. It's not rocket science. Okay. So what you have to do is you have to realize, first of all, that there are millions of books that are on Kindle. So how is your book going to get found? I mean, that's the most important thing first. So you get 7 keywords and 2 categories. You actually can get more categories, but when you go to sign up, it says it gives you 2. If you want more, you have to ask them for it. So what you have to do is you have to look at the categories. You have to look at the keywords. What are there bestsellers in that, using that keyword? Like, you come, actually, to backtrack a little, it's like I'll say, okay, if I'm looking for a book, my book, what words would I most likely look up? And then I go to like a word tracker, which is free, and I put those in, and then I'll go over to Kindle. Sometimes if you're stuck, you can ask other people. If you're in a group, I have a group, I put it up here. It's facebook.com/groups/books business abundance. And so, you know, when people are having issues, troubles, need help, and you can always ask for help in there. And so, you know, asking like, what would you look up? So we figure out what the main things are people look up, and then we just go into Kindle and we look at the different keywords and see what are the books. You know, are the books under that keyword similar in topic to your book? Because if they aren't, then maybe that's not the best keyword for yours. So I don't want to go too much into this, but the bottom line is that you want to find keywords that have bestsellers, and you want to find categories that have bestsellers. And in categories, there's always will be a #1, and you can click on whatever the category is that the book's showing up for, and you just click on it, and you can see what's #1. But there's two sets of numbers that you're looking at. One is the numbers for the categories. The other is the numbers in the overall ranking of Amazon. And so once you know that it's selling, and once you know what the main keywords are that are selling, I look at that as like a palette. Like if you were painting, you have a palette of colors. Well, to me, this is a palette of words. And so from those words, I always look at, okay, well, which ones would be cool to use in my title? And then how is that going to work? Okay, you know, what's that title going to be? And I want something that's catchy. I want something that's memorable, and preferably short, because when you're in Amazon, what people look at is the title and the cover. So if the cover isn't attractive, if the title isn't good, it's not, they're going to go on to the next one. So once you've got that all figured out, then what I look at is, okay, what do I want people to do when they finish reading this book? Like, what's the next step? It's, you know, it's the whole Stephen Covey, you know, yeah, I guess. Oh, wait, hold on, my husband. Yeah, okay, go by. He doesn't want to get caught on film here. So, you know, looking at the end in mind, what do you want people to do at the end? Because you should always figure out how you're going to move people from the beginning, then the title, to the end, which is what you want them to do next. Well, once you have that, you can do it two ways. One is you can create a series of questions. Okay, like what would I need to answer in order for people to want to take this action at the end of reading my book? Or you could do it more like chapters. Okay, what do I want to say in chapter, and what do I want to say in chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4? So it can either be a series of questions that you then answer, or it can be an outline that you then fill in. But either way, the thing is, people tend to try to write and judge at the same time, and your brain doesn't work that way. They use two different functions, so you can't do both at the same time. So a lot of times people get really slowed down because, number one, they're trying to edit while they're writing. And number two is if they're trying to make everything perfect. I once had this woman who was in one of my workshops, and she'd worked for the post office, and they literally made you do it line by line by line, and you had to get each line perfect before the next line, and she could not get the book done because it was taking her forever doing that. So what we want to do is throw out perfectionism and say, I want to get the main ideas done, and I'm just going to talk this, and I'm not going to edit while I'm talking. So and as I said, I mean, if you have a specific talk that you've recorded, if you have a PowerPoint, I mean, that can be your outline that you then fill in. But those are the ways that you can write your book a lot faster. It's just by not writing it and talking it. If you're a fast writer and you like writing better, then do the outline. You know, just figure out what you want to say in each chapter and then start filling it in. And what you can do is, you know, what's point A under each chapter? What's point A, point B, point C, point D? How many do you have for each one? And then you just go from there. So that's how you get it done quickly. Now, the other thing that I see is people get it done, and then they go back and they start, you know, writing and rewriting and rewriting and rewriting. Remember that people don't care, if we're talking about nonfiction here, people don't care as much about that it's, you know, a masterpiece of English, and that you're giving them a solution to a problem that they have. And they also want to know that it's something that isn't like every other book, right? It's like, why should I buy your book over every other book that's out there? So I once had a client who was a chiropractor, and he had a book on healing pain naturally for lower back pain. And when we went in to do the research, and he'd already written the book when he came to me, there was this other book. And I said, wow, this sounds exactly like your book. And he goes, well, that's the guy, you know, that everybody knows. But my book is nothing like that. My book has these, I don't know what it was, you know, follow the numbers, this, that, the other, that his doesn't have. And I said, well, guess what? I would never know that from your title. And therefore, if he's the guy, I'm going to buy his book before I'm going to buy your book. So a lot of getting your book done quickly is just knowing what you want to say, getting it out, not being perfection, but also then being able to understand really what makes your book special and why people would want to buy it, so that once you have it, it can get found. Okay, and it is important to come up with a great title. It is important to have an enticing book cover. But, you know, guess what? I mean, here's the thing. People get caught up in, well, it has to be perfect. And that's one of the things that makes them take so long to write a book. And I can tell you, I have a book that I first put out in, I think that one was 2014. And I'm just updating it. And the first version was like 55 pages. The second version now is like 80 pages because I just added a whole bunch more stuff to it. But it didn't stop me from putting it out. And the other thing is that I want to say about books, and this was a big shock to me because I came into this as a book person, you know, a book aficionado, and, you know, physical books, and they have to be big books and all this kind of stuff. And what I found is, again, that people don't care, number one. And number two, if you go into Amazon and you see like somebody has 6, 8, 10 books, most people are never going to go through them and look at how many pages they are. First of all, they make it hard to even find how many pages they are, okay? And second of all, again, if it solves a problem, then every book doesn't have to be, you know, 150, 200 pages. So, for instance, I have a book, it's called Turn Your Book into $10,000 Clients. It's 30 pages. Okay, that's all it is 30 pages. But it gets all 5-star reviews, and people love the book because it's based on over 10 years of research and tearing my hair out trying to figure out first how to get $10,000 clients and then what I did to get them. So then I started realizing, oh my God, I write all these special reports and I got a whole bunch of them that are 25, 30, 35 pages. Like, I'm going to put them all up there because, again, people go and look and go, wow, they've got 10 books, 15 books. So for me now, it's a matter of just getting the time to go in there and do it. But don't be tied to that idea that every book has to be a long book. Every book has to be a big book. And every book has to be perfect. You want a good title. You know, you definitely want to test them. You want to make sure people really like your covers, that they're enticing. And then you want to solve a problem. And beyond that, it's just whichever way is working for you, go for it. You know, go for it. And I do actually have a book on 8 ways to repurpose your content. And that one's at realeasyebooks.com. realeasyebooks.com. So that's really the short version of how to do it quickly.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. And so you do a lot more ebooks. How many printed? Do you have printed ones too? How many?
My own books or other people's?
Yours.
Yeah, mine. Well, when I started, it was completely ebooks, and ebooks and books were real different.
Yeah.
Now they're the same. So when I started, I was just doing ebooks.
Yeah.
I just did a book at Christmas that's an anthology. It's my first anthology. It's How to Crush It in Business Without Crushing Your Spirit. And that one actually has gotten picked up by a publisher. We're in the
oh, cool.
process of getting that all together. And that one will be a printed book. But that's the other thing, you know, your books have to be long enough to be able to be a printed book to have a spine, unless you're going to do them spiral or something.
You need about 100 pages, 96 pages to have a spine with, somewhere around there. Maybe a little less. Wasn't it like 80 something technically? But you want around 100 pages, I think.
Yeah.
And that's at a 5.5 by 8.5 or a 6 by 9. So cool. Well, awesome. Now she has been doing books for, I don't know, gazillion, that would totally.
13 years.
But, but before ebooks were really cool, she was doing them. And now everybody, you know, so.
Yeah, you know what? They were saying ebooks are dead. I'm going, no. And that was before Kindle. And I'm going, no, I know they're not dead anymore.
And because we all need free stuff. I talk about free gifts all the time and easy yes offers and how to get people into your funnel and get them on your list and stuff. And it's always good to have, if you do it really, so they're great lead generators.
There's 2 cool things. One is you can have a free book on your site and then upsell them to the physical book.
Right.
That works really well.
Or you have like for my book, Love Yourself Successful, when it first came out, I gave away the first 2 chapters. So the intro and the first 2 chapters via email in a PDF. But then don't just like put the chapters out there. I have a client who's doing that right now. We're getting ready to launch her book, so her free gift on her website is the first 2 chapters of her book. But but you don't just put the first 2 chapters in there. You got to put some testimonials in there. You put call to action pages on the back in that
Right.
PDF. It's not going to actually look like that in the book, but you put it in the PDF so that people will click and do something with it beyond just reading it and going, oh, nice.
Here's what I really love. I work with a lot of authors who are new authors, and they really don't have a clue how to market yet. And I love doing bestseller launches with them because you don't have to have a website. You don't have to have an email list. You don't have to have anything, because you can put your book on Amazon, and they're all, I mean, there's this whole cottage industry that has grown up around this. And so they're all announcement sites, and they have hundreds of thousands of people that come to their sites every day, and they'll do it by they'll have them by categories. And so you get it, you know, in there, and then they drive all this traffic to your book.
Yeah.
So
It's
that's a great way to jumpstart your marketing.
Well, I'm going to have to know what you do for the Amazon launches, because I'm going to get ready to do one here pretty soon. So I would love your guys' support on my Amazon launch too. So I'll be sending info out. But
yeah, I just saw a guy saying he was all excited because he got his book to #1 in a week. We get him to #1 in 1 to 2 days.
yeah, a day. That's when the campaign goes, right? So
it's just it's setting it up right, and it's knowing where to put it, and then it's making sure that it shows up in the right places.
Right. Cool. So if you guys have questions, put them in the chat or raise your hand, unmute yourself, that kind of thing. I know there's a couple other people that have gotten on since we started. And if you are on video and on the computer, make sure you put what you do in the chat room, because I copy that chat and it goes out to all 2,600 members. Okay. So make sure you put like who you are, what you do, and your website URL, complete URL, so it's linkable. And then also make sure you look in the chat for everybody else who's there and connect. I mean, you got to use this as a networking event, right? So, so I'm glad to see so many of you here. We've already done introductions if we have time at the end. What we're still going to do is we're still going to do a 5 minutes in the spotlight. So if anybody has a challenge they're working on, I'm going to say, hey, and this is hard to do. You're either going to raise your hand or you're going to go, pick me if you're on phone, and I'll pick one of you if you want to have some help working on something. But any questions for Ellen on ebooks or regular books? Or yeah, Michelle has a question.
Yeah, I just have a question. When you said have a good title, have a good cover, and I know you covered you know, like going out and checking for keywords and categories, and is that sort of what helps you drive what the title will be?
Yeah, what I mean by that is, like, what I'll do is, and this is just my own creative process for doing it. I mean, people may have other ways to do it, but this works really well for me and my clients, which is I'll go and I'll look at how other people describe what they're doing, okay, that are in that same category or that with that same keyword. Because sometimes, like, you're just not thinking in the right way about something. Like, for instance, if I go to, I'm going to just go there right now, and I'll just give you, it's easier just to do something than to try to explain it. Okay, so my book is on, one of my books, my anthology book is on depression for entrepreneurs, because I really don't want people to be depressed and lonely. So when I look at this, I'm looking for 2 things. One, I want to see what titles are already there, because I want to make sure I don't come up with the same one. You know, one of the things that happens is people will come up with a title and they're so attached to that title that then when you tell them, well, it's already been done. I mean, there are like 8 or 10 or 14 books sometimes at different times, books called How to Be Happy. Well, if I'm looking for a book on how to be happy and I go there, I'm not going to buy any of those books, because how would I know which one to buy, right? They're all called How to Be Happy. So you have, that's what I'm saying. You have to have something that differentiates you. But by the same token, well, let me go there since I said How to Be Happy. So we'll go to How to Be Happy.
We can't see what you're doing, so if you want to share the screen, you can.
I'll tell you in a minute. What? Okay. So How to Be Happy. So this one's a creative workbook. How to Be Happy, the 6 keys to a happy and healthy life. So first of all, I see there's keys, there's happy, and there's healthy, right? How to be healthy, not a self-help book. Okay, so there's
maybe share the screen so we can see what you're doing, so we know how to look for it.
Okay, I'm just going down the list here.
Yeah, this seems like a golden tip.
Right?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I
Okay,
charge
so she's on
money to do
Amazon.
Okay, so I'll look at strategies, sanity. Okay, how to be single and happy. Now, again, another thing when you're looking at these, like how to be, like let's say I'm looking to see, okay, is there a bestseller look and a bestseller on what I want to write about being happy, and this one's about being single and being happy. If that one were a bestseller, but I'm not writing specifically about being single and being happy, then I can't use that one because, right, it's not really the same topic. So that's the first thing is you got to make sure they're on the same exact topic. Okay, so you can be happy no matter what. 5 principles. So we've got principles, we've got keys, how to tame the voice in my head without losing my edge. Again, self-help. That's the second time self-help came up. How we choose to be happy, choices, the 9 choices of extremely happy people, secrets. In other words, I just look at the words that people use. And the reason I do that is because sometimes.
Oh my God, there's a gun.
What?
Yikes.
But that one right there is like shooting himself in the head.
Yeah, that book sells a lot, by the way.
Wow.
Your life depends on it.
Love yourself like
tell
your
you.
life depends on it.
Yeah, see, that one has tons of reviews.
Interesting.
And see, it's at 2,700. 2,700 in all of Amazon. This book is selling a ton of books all the time. Now, right now, it's not number 1, but at other times I've been in there and it has been number 1. But see, it's also showing you where it shows up. It shows up in self-esteem. It shows up in happiness. It shows up in motivation. So if I were doing a book on a similar topic, then I would go and click on these and look at, okay, what are those books? So it shows you this is a bestseller. And then I look at them and I go, okay, well, are they similar to my book? Because again, they can be similar and they might be very different. And that's why you want to make sure you find the categories that are that make the most sense. In other words, they're books that are similar to yours, right? So that's what's important. Now, obviously, if this one's 77 and this one's 32, it also means that this one is going to be harder to get to number 1 than this one. Because look at this. This guy's only at 2,700 and yet he's only 77 in happiness. That tells you there's a lot of competition there. A lot of competition. There's less competition in self-esteem. So
write a book on happiness. Note to self. Got it.
Right. So when I'm doing a launch, I want the one that's easier, the 32. But if I want to sell a lot of books, I might sell more books under happiness and self-esteem, depending on what the title and topic of my book actually is. So that's why all these things are really important to niche it down and to get really clear about what it is and where to put it. But to go back to the titles, notice that what I said was that sometimes there are words that show up over and over. So this one, like self-help, showed up a lot. So, one of the things I used to love about, I'm going to come back now. One of the things I used to love about Google AdWords was they had the keyword planner. Well, now they only let you use it if you have an ad running, where you used to just be able to do it anytime. So one of the reasons I love looking at what other people have done is because it will give you clues. If there's a word that's being used over and over, like in this case, self-help, there's a reason. So it means that people who are looking for happiness like the word self-help. Okay. So then I put that onto my list, and it might end up in my title, or it might end up as one of my keywords. It just depends on how I decide to do my title. So if it doesn't end up in my title, then I'm definitely going to use that as a keyword, because obviously that's one of the keywords because people keep using it. Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you.
But by the same time,
we have to do a 5 minutes in the spotlight. So I hate to cut you off, but I put your contact information in the chat again. If there's anything else you want to share, like a regular website, you have your books business.
Yeah, we're actually in the process of building the new website, which will be Books Business Abundance. But right now it's it's ellenviolette.com, and it goes to my old website. And then when it's done, we'll just redirect it to the new one. But right now, if you just go to Ellen Violette, which will make it easier, because I don't want to give you more websites, more places to go. Just .com.
I'll put that in here for you.
Thank you, Ellen.
Very cool. Well, you can reach out to her. She is pretty accessible, and you're on Facebook a lot. I don't know if you're on LinkedIn and stuff too.
I am on Facebook, and I put it in my group in here.
Put your group in there.
My
And
regular one is under my name, facebook.com LNDLF.
I
the group.
reposted your group link, so make sure you guys check that out. She's really knowledgeable, you guys, about books, anything books. So thank you for being
Book and integrating it with your business.
Yes, true, because we have to do that. Why write a book if you're not going to do something with it?
Exactly, and most people don't.
I know, it's silly, it's crazy. It's great, don't do that, people. Okay, so I put a little list of things types of books you could write in there too. I have an opportunity, if you guys are interested in an anthology or a compilation, do you guys know what that is? Anybody not know what that is? It's like it's a book that is 20 or 30 or 40 authors. Are you doing any right now, Ellen?
No, I just did one, and I got to tell you, have you ever put one together yourself?
I'm not doing it though. My publisher gal friend is.
Oh, okay.
All I have to do is find the 20 or 30 people that want to write a chapter.
Because I got to tell you, I worked like 14 hours a day, 3 months straight to get that book done.
Well, that's why I'm not doing it. Are you kidding me? I got other things to do. So I'm putting together a book, and I'll just give you guys a quick snapshot of what it's going to be. But it's this is not the cover, just so you know. It's but it's Jumpstart Your Blank. And so my idea is Jumpstart Your Blank. I'm all of you, like 20 or 30 inspiring stories from entrepreneurs who can show you how to blank. So then you pick your blank. So it's kind of genius, actually, because my friend is doing a word book, and you pick your word, and you have to describe your word and all this thing. But anyway, so jumpstart your life, your confidence, jumpstart your wealth, jumpstart your health, your mindset, your authenticity, your community, whatever ties in with I've already got someone who wants love life, and I've already got someone who wants profits. So, and then I'm doing marketing and probably business. So, but there's sales and referrals and social media. I mean, Mickey, you got to do jumpstart your referrals, and productivity, and who wants weight loss and relationships and purpose and freedom. It's crazy. So all you have to do is write a 1,000-word chapter, and you get 50 copies of your book. Most of these, you only get like 10 copies, and it's going to go out for about $1,500, but the first 10 people get it for $750, and I can't find where I put the price. Oh, here it is. So $750 is all it is, and you can get published, and all you have to do is write the one chapter, and we take care of everything. So it's a heck of a deal, you guys. Honestly, I've paid up to $2,500 to be in a compilation book, and I just wanted to throw that out. I'll explain more later. Where's my stop share? But here's the page for Kat's compilation book thing. Right now I'm just taking interest. So if you're interested, you just need to fill out the page and put your word in there, like jumpstart your blank. So it's whatever you help people with is what you would ideally want to do so it can be a good marketing tool for you. Anybody like that idea? Yeah? Okay, good. Well, if you're interested, just go fill it out. You don't have to commit to anything today. Just fill out that page. All right, so raise your hand or unmute your phone and say, pick me if you want a 5-minute in the hot seat. Otherwise, I'm going to pick somebody randomly from the Brady Bunch circles here. Nobody? I hear somebody. What about Ronica? You're unmuted. Nobody else is muted.
Hi, Katrina.
Hi, is that Ronica?
Yes, this is Ronica.
Oh, good. Is it Veronica or just Ronica?
It's just Ronica.
Okay, good. That's what I see on the screen. So have you been to one of our meetings do you know what we're doing here?
No, this is my first time.
Okay. So what we do is 5 minutes in the spotlight. It's kind of like masterminding. It is masterminding, really. So what you do is you give us 30 seconds or so of a challenge or a question or a thing you're trying to work on right now in your business or you're speaking. And then the rest of us will give you answers and suggestions and advice, and either in the chat room or verbally. And we have like 4 minutes or so total. So you don't want to take up a lot of that time. You ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
Okay. Give us a challenge or what you're working on and how we can help you.
Okay, my challenge is marketing and getting myself out there. I published a book, but it didn't do just very well because I don't think that I marketed it well. So my challenge is how to get myself out there more and grow a bigger, maybe, email list?
Okay, that's a big question. So remind us all what you do again, just so they don't have to look back in the chat and look it up.
Okay, I'm a professional counselor, wellness coach, and I want to be a speaker. So
Okay.
my target audience is people, it's pretty broad, but people who are struggling with crisis type situations, maybe health challenges, dealing with grief, and just I call myself an expert in pain.
And are you doing this full time, or do you have a job, or what's your situation? Because it kind of depends on how you market.
I am a counselor full time, but I work at a university teaching. So I'm doing my book like part time, and my other.
Or you want to sell your book, or do you want to sell coaching and consulting, or both?
I like to sell coaching and consulting.
And are you selling?
I like my book. Yes.
Okay.
Am I happiness?
Well, my first thought, and please, unmute yourself if you want to chime in here, so I know you want to say something next, you guys. Is make sure you're super clear on what you're selling first. It doesn't sound like you're super clear on what you're selling. Oh, I have a book, I have some coaching, but you don't have it doesn't sound like you have a signature process or system, or I have a 6-week program, it's called this, and this is what the transformation is. So make sure you're super clear on what you're selling first. Otherwise, the marketing really doesn't make sense to people.
I do have a 6-week signature program.
Okay.
It's based on my book, From Hurt to Healing.
Okay, perfect. Then you have a webpage that talks about it. Do you?
Yes, I have a website, and the signature program is listed in there.
Is it click and buy? Can you click and buy it, or do you have to come to a call? Like, evaluate your website as a person that doesn't know you at all. If they land on it, can they find it easily? Can they buy it easily from the website? Or what is the process you take them to, the sales process, in order to get to buy that program? Do they have to call you? Because that's not going to happen. Do they have to send you an email? How are you making it easy for them?
Yes, that's probably part of the problem.
Okay.
I want you to email me or call me.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, sweetie. So you got to figure out how to get a more of an online sales process, because I take it you work 9 to 5, so you're not going to be able to go to as many networking events or get speaking gigs during the day. So you got to figure out the online model. So you might want to record a bunch of videos or do some webinars or maybe webcasts like this. Anybody else have any other ideas for her? I mean, I could go on and on for hours, right? So, Mickey, yeah.
Yeah, a couple of things. Number one, if you want to be a speaker, go speak. So get involved with a Toastmasters, stay involved with Sacramento Speakers, a great network. So speakers speak and do it as often as you can. And Toastmasters is a great environment for that if you haven't done it before. The other thing, my ears always perk up when I hear people say that I have a broad target market. When I go throw darts at the bar, I am not trying to hit just random objects. I am aiming for the center of the target, and everybody who knows and standing around watching me throw darts knows where I'm throwing darts, and they know I'm trying to hit the center of the target. So I absolutely agree with Katrina on understanding what it is that you sell, and the next step of that, I think, is understanding who you're selling it to. A nice sharp point on your target would be great.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else? Maybe one more minute. I know you guys. Yep. Ellen.
I mean, we talked about launches, but also, there are ads. Amazon has Amazon Marketing. It's called AMS, and there's actually a free training that a friend of mine did. If anybody wants access to that, I mean, I can get you. It's a free training, and it's not mine. It's somebody else's that I worked with. But the point is that I agree with Katrina that you want to make things as easy and also online. And so one of the things that, and I know people get afraid of ads, but you can literally start with $1 a day, and you can even do it for like just 5 or 6 days, and just play around with until it works. And then what you do is you just want to make sure that you're making more than you're spending. And then you've got something that's making money all the time and growing. That's one thing. Another thing is podcasts are great. Be a guest on podcasts. A lot of you guys are authors. I'm going to be starting a podcast, and one of the things that we're going to do a lot of is talk to authors about what their books are and how they use them. That's why I definitely want to get into there. But it's really about visibility. It's about visibility and relationships, launches, and ads. To me, I mean, that's the bottom line. If you're doing those 4 things, you're going to sell books.
Thank you.
And I'm not trying to disagree with you, but I wouldn't do the ads at all unless you have somebody on your team that can show you how to do it well. I just hired a team this like 2 months ago, and I was waiting to do ads because I don't want you spending $20 here and $30 there to try to.
And that's what I'm saying. Give yourself $5 and see if That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's like people think you have to do all this stuff, but you really don't. And yeah, there are people who do that as well. And I'm not saying to do that, but I'm just saying, I think I was so scared of even putting my toe in the water, and it kept me from doing it for a long time, and I regret it.
But you can spend a lot of time trying to figure out the ad thing, and I don't know if any of you guys have, and then I finally just hired a team, but they're $1,200 a month plus ad spend, and so I'm ready to go all in on the ads now, but that's
you shouldn't do that. You don't have a lot of money to spend.
No, you can't. There's so much other free stuff to do first, so free first, then pay. What can you do for free first? And I'm going to put a whole list of places for podcasts, you guys, in the chat room. Like, I don't usually give this out, but you guys get it. So I just put a huge list of links where you can try to be a guest on podcasts and radio shows. I give it out to clients and at my events, and my event just happens to be this weekend, so I have a ton of resources right on my computer at the moment. So I'm putting together PowerPoint, but go copy that, you guys. Seriously, you want to copy that right now. I'm gonna send it out, obviously, in the chat, but
Katrina, even with that, again, it's like, where are you sending people to from there? When you're on that show, you gotta know, you gotta have a selection of something. Otherwise, it's a real waste of time.
True. Like, I would share Ronica's my screen, because her website's actually really pretty. But Ronica, there's not a lot of, really no call to action on here. So we got to get some call to action on your website. It looks really great, but it's not effective and functional. So there's just some tweaks that I would highly recommend on your site.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming, you guys. I'm happy to stay a couple extra minutes. If anybody has any other questions, if you have to run. Hopefully I can see you at the lunch tomorrow. There's been people registering since I've been talking to you, I've noticed. So it's always nice when they can click and buy, right? Let's make it easy for people to click and buy, people, and pay us while we're doing other things. So any other questions for Ellen or myself? Any other thoughts on anything?
I have a question. So, Katrina, how do we copy this list you have here of the podcast?
You should be able to just take your cursor and highlight it and copy it.
Okay.
But if not, you'll get it soon. It just may not come today. So if you want to get started.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. And
I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a question. Do you have to be in Sacramento to be part of your group?
Well, no, that's why I started doing webinars. So, because everybody that was part in Sacramento was in the group, 2,600 members or so. But since I opened it up for webinars, I've gotten, like, most of the speakers that are on the webinar are not from Sacramento, because a lot of my speaker friends saw my call for speakers and went pouncing on it.
Yeah, we're all over the place, huh?
Right? And then they were pouncing on it. So so that's why I have speakers from Australia and UK and all over the US now. And so I'm happy to do that, because I know that, we're kind of limiting ourselves here. But the luncheons, there's nothing like, we have 2-hour luncheons. So we have a lot more time to network, and we have 2 speakers at the luncheons. Plus I do like a 10 or 15 minute training as well. So there's really 3 speaking topics and things that we cover. So that way it's a broad range of things that you're going to learn and not just one main speaker for 30 or 40 minutes, which if they're good, it's fine. But if they're not so good, it's not so fine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you can interact online. I mean, I use Meetup like I do on social media with Facebook. One of the things that's really working on Facebook and LinkedIn these days is the messaging, the private messaging. Now, you have to be careful because you can't just like promote and sell because people will block and delete you and unfriend you. But if you're really careful how you're doing the private messaging, it's a huge strategy. I mean, it's how I get most of my speaking gigs, especially the virtual ones, is through the messaging system. And it's how I'm getting a lot of people to help promote things for me, etc. So yeah, you got to do the private message. You got to stop and spend some time there. It's like going to a networking event. If you message 50 people on Facebook, it's like going to a networking event with 50 people, but you've met them all basically, or at least you've gotten to say hi to them and you're waiting for their reply basically. So it could be a week till they reply, but I mean, it's a long networking event for that reason. But it really does work. Any other thoughts, you guys? You look like you want to just hang out for hours, but I got to go do a PowerPoint. So, all right, I'm off to my event this weekend. You guys have a great time. I'll see some of you tomorrow at the lunch, and we'll see you next month on the webinar.
Thank you,
Katrina. Awesome stuff.
Thanks, Ellen.
Thank